Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is such a satisfying conclusion to this trilogy. There was a lot that I liked about this one, and in my honest opinion, Marvel Studios did a great job making this one. Man, I have to say, bravo, James Gunn, bravo. You did it again. You gave us another epic space opera we all can be proud of. So, the story of this one is that the Guardians, they're embarking on a mission in order to protect Rocket and also dealing with the new villain, the High Evolutionary. And you know, I went into this one with high expectations and I was not disappointed. And I must say that this one is a hell of a ride and it's balanced pretty evenly, I must say. And the thing is, with the Guardian movies, when the first one came out back in 2014, I was a little hesitant because, quite frankly, I was surprised that with unknown characters, with a vast majority of people, and you know, it actually paid off pretty well. And this film is the conclusion of all that. And the values of family, friendship, and loyalty, it makes complete sense by the end of this one, and why James Gunn made this film the way that he did. At the end of the day, if you're a fan of the MCU movies, then definitely check this one out because it is sure worth the time. Now, to be honest, I really did appreciate how darker this film was. And I actually think James Gunn would go there, but he did. Because, let's face it, a lot of the recent Marvel films have a lot of comedy to a point where it just cripples the film. And here, thankfully, that's not the case. This movie is still funny. There are still a lot of moments where I'll just burst out laughing. And at the same time, this movie was so emotional that I actually got teary-eyed in a couple of scenes. Like Rocket Raccoon, his backstory is tragic, but it's also the heart of the movie. And quite frankly, I think it leads this one into being more impactful, just seeing what he went through. And not just that, but there are several moments within this film that actually adds a lot of character depth. And despite how enjoyable this one is, there are some things I didn't like about it, such as how underused Alan Warlock was. Now I get he was introduced, teased in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. But here, he shows up, and well, he doesn't do a whole lot. Like, I really would like if this character showed up earlier in the MCU, maybe Avengers, Infinity War. Even though maybe it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for him to show up there, but at least the character has his own TV series or movie. And while Gamora is a character that I felt like took somewhat of a step back, she's a prick, she's acting mean to all the other Guardians. I get it, she's from a different timeline. But if she would have been just a little more nicer, then maybe her inclusion in this film would have gelled well. I mean, it was still good to see her because this character was long overdue to return. But for the most part, this was a character regression than from the Gamora we had known from just a couple of years ago. Now, the High Evolutionary, I think he was a good villain. He wasn't great because in a lot of scenes he was yelling a lot. But what kept him interesting is how much hate I had for this character. My disdain had grown all throughout this film just because of how deplorable his actions were. One thing I would say, this movie, it was dealing with a lot. The Guardians doing their banter, the other plot lines that this film does tie up nicely. Like, it makes sense that they're not able to get everything that they possibly could within this. Is this movie perfect? No, I wouldn't say it is. But for a large part of its runtime, it's engaging, it's emotional, like I mentioned before, and it's a movie that I'm glad actually turned out real well because I was a little bit concerned because a lot of the past MCU films recently have been not that great, to be honest. Overall, when it comes down to it, this is such a great MCU film in my opinion. The action scenes were awesome, the cinematography was beautiful, and just seeing all these characters' journeys and just how it ends by the end of this one, it just makes this very compelling And quite frankly, this is certainly one of the better MCU films within the last couple of years. I'm giving this film an 8 out of 10. This is certainly one of my favorite movies so far this year. Now, if only Marvel Studios can make more movies like this, then I could be on board because I have lost a little hope for their future films. I mean, look at the past movies such as Thor, Love and Thunder, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania for recent examples. Overall, this film, it does its job of telling an interesting story, characters you care about, and an emotional journey that'll have you laughing and crying all the way to the very end. And that is my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie if you have seen it. Alright, this is Slim Guy 172 saying peace out.